All right, today we're here at Blue Ridge Overland Gear. I got my friend Rick Stowe hanging out with me.
Hey, Ben.
What's up, man?
Not much. Let's get out a camper.
All the early days when we were having fun, now Alu-Cabs were just a loaded gun.
All right, so we're here at Blue Ridge Overland Gear. My friend Rick Stowe here is going to help us figure out what we're going to do with the interior of the Khaya to organize it a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rick?
So yeah, obviously the Khaya Camper is really cool because I love how you can drop it, take off, hit some harder trails, stuff like that, and a ton of interior space. And for us, it's really a blank slate because the entire thing is carpeted, works well with all of our Velcro pouches. Plus, there's some really neat mounting options and some like pass-through that I think we can kind of utilize storage where you've got access to stuff whether you're in or out of the rig. Pretty excited to use a lot of stuff off the shelf, and we can't help ourselves. We're going to build some custom stuff today.
All right, so inside the Khaya, we've done a few things here. We've got the Red Arc with the universal kit from GP Factor. GP Factor also installed this table. It's a flat mount. Gives me a lot of working space for editing, etc., or food prep, depending on what I'm feeling like doing. I've got a fridge back here, and over here I have a Dickinson stove with a GP Factor mount and chimney kit. I ran this piping, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to organize it yet. I'm trying to kind of figure out a good method of kind of Velcroing this down. That might be something we're able to figure out today, hopefully. But that's essentially what I've done inside the Khaya.
Yeah, so obviously we build everything in-house right here under one roof. Material comes in on rolls just like this. It gets cut up front or either here on the table, and then back here is where all our builders are at. Yeah, everything is sewn, bound, finished, all that under one roof. Up front we kind of have a couple of stations. Over on the right we've got the laser cutter. That allows us to cut, prototype, all that stuff really quickly with minimal waste, which we're really proud of like having almost no material that ends up in the trash compared to the size of the roll. Also where we finish stuff, all the little things like paracord, zipper pulls, those final steps that are a little more fiddly, we do that over there. And then this is inventory and shipping, where everything is stored before it goes out all over the country, all over the world, orders going out every day. So yeah, everything's literally under one roof with a pretty small team, less than 20 people here in Bedford, Virginia. So one thing that's really cool about the Khaya is that thing has carpet everywhere, and we have a lot of pouches that are Velcro back. So we're gonna grab some stuff off the shelf, kind of see how it fits. Kind of one of our go-tos are these 4x12s. Like I said, Velcro back, string reinforced vinyl front, so you can see what's in there. And we've got an idea, a space where these are gonna fit really well. So we need 6 of these. One size down, the 4x8s. I think there's going to be a spot where Ben can keep some cool stuff, like charge cords, things like that, pocket knife, kind of in reach, but up out of the way so you don't have to worry about digging for things. Let's grab 3 of these guys. And then, of course, the trusty visor panel. We're going to get a couple of those just for keeping registration, insurance, ink pens, all that stuff in the cab at hand. Plus, it's handy for clipping mics, too, when you're getting content. Of course, we couldn't let Ben come to the shop and with his new truck, not get kitted out with some classic BROG products like the visor panel organizer. Super easy to install. Slide it in there, Velcro it down. And now we get questions a lot about like, oh, the logo's upside down. The logo's not upside down, you just have options. If you wanna have like some stuff that's available here, when the visor's down with a nice pocket, you can rig it up that way, throw up some patches, stuff like that, but the logo is right side up. Other hand, you can run these through here. And then you got access to your pocket on the outside for registration, stuff like that, clip-in pins, flashlights, tire gauges, whatever you need, and it's all accessible with the visor closed. All right, so Ben was saying that this is kind of going to be obviously his table for cooking, but also, you know, he does a lot of editing and other work on his computer. So he wanted to offer some organization that would be at hand when he's here in this station in the camper. So it just so happens that these 4x12s, which fit perfectly, and they hold really securely on the carpeted walls of the camper. For the sake of aesthetics and symmetry, we're gonna go with 3 down each side. He can see what he has in there, and if he, you know, out on a shoot and needs to grab something, you literally just rip it and go. I had an idea that it looked like this area right here, which is the propane cabinet on the other side, would be perfect for dropping just a couple of 4x8 pouches in there. That way, if there's anything small, kind of has its own dedicated space, doesn't interfere with the propane hose, doesn't really overhang enough that, you know, you're gonna mess with stuff here. And when you drop the bed down, it's below the level of that lip, so nothing's gonna mess with them. Again, you know, what are you gonna put in there? You don't know until you're like trying to find a spot for something small, but I think that's a great way to kind of utilize that little corner. So this really cool pass-through panel is a great opportunity, we thought, for like first aid supplies, things like that. You get access it inside the camper from the outside. But instead of just like having it chilling out in here, we're going to build a custom Molle panel. It's actually going to utilize some of these rivets that we're going to use for anchor points, and it's going to kind of be sized for our medium first aid bag, and also then allow the operation of this latch still. So you won't have any kind of interference with that. You know, if you're on the inside trying to get to it, that would be the last thing you would want being held up by you can't get the door open to the first aid kit.
Oh, so. My finger's broke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let me go outside.
Yeah.
So what part of the rig is this for?
So like we were talking about that hatch earlier that you can access from inside the camper or from the outside cabinet, we built this custom Velcro Molle panel. So there's 2 different attachment options here. Velcro patches will stick, and then once this has a backing on it and it's hard mounted into that door, you'll be able to use the Molle for semi-permanent attachment solutions.
I've been rambling through towns I don't know, just a southern gypsy living on the road. I get lonesome, I get low down. I know there's a reason I keep pouring my soul out. I am a steel horse rider, a ghost on the wind, an interstate cowboy, riding 4 lanes on the highway with no end.
So I use this bag for trash, recyclables, etc. If I find trash on the trail, stuff like that. It's a great place to just toss whatever you don't want to be putting in your camper. You can just throw it in here, and then when you find a good solid dumpster or recycling facility, you can dispose of your unwanted items. Some of the benefits of having an attic is it's sort of aerated, so if you have like wet rain gear or something like that, you can stuff it in here and it'll like dry out more easily than if it was just sitting on the floor of your truck. Also, it's just nice to have this space that I can just kind of throw whatever clothing. I can keep a warm jacket on hand, especially in New England. The temperature shifts really quickly, so it's better to have it like just stuffed up here so that I don't have to dig through my bags and find my jacket or whatever. But it is a nice tucked up out of the way space. All right, so that wraps up our day at Blue Ridge Overland Gear. We got an attic custom made to go under the bed. I have some pockets here, Velcro pockets over here. We neatened up our propane line for the heater. So we made this here. This is a Velcro Molle panel, custom fit to this size, and that you can mount anything with Velcro on it too, probably pouches, etc., etc. But also on the other side, we put another one, and we've got a medium size first aid kit lashed onto there. So the really nice thing about this first aid kit situation we got going here is it's on this door that I can open from the inside. So I can access this first aid kit from the outside or the inside of the truck.
are the